Hello. Thank you for attending this recorded webinar for MSc Strategic Management Suite. My name is Yukari Iguchi and I'm leading this presentation today. So, before moving on to explaining the program, I would like to introduce myself first. So I'm Yukari Iguchi. I'm academic lead for hospitality and business, looking after some of the business programs and the hospitality program this university delivers online. And I am originally from Japan, but also lived in America, the United States briefly, and then also in Switzerland for about 4 years before I came to the UK some years ago. My professional background has always been the hospitality industry, because I like interacting people and understanding people. And then my interest gradually shifted onto developing people, and that's how I came to the academia. So my research areas have always been on the internationalization of higher education in the United Kingdom. So to help those international students who are from all over the world from different educational and cultural background to succeed in our context in the UK. And then in the professional context, it is on managing cultural diversity, how we can actually achieve the organizational goal, utilizing all those different ideas and attitudes and the strengths and and then helping weaknesses of the employees and managers. And then skills development, mainly in the hospitality sectors, but in more broader contexts, in the business sector in general. So this is about myself, and then and then here are some information about my colleagues you will meet if you enroll on one of those MSc Strategic Management Suite. And so here is Dr. Uchi Okere, my colleague, who also managed the environmental management programs. And so he's also going to lead the modules if you enroll on the strategic sustainability management programs at diploma stage. So he has quite strong background in professional as well as academic context, and then he's got PhD in quite kind of technical side. Also, he also worked in the IEMA, Institute of Environmental Management and Assessment. So you will learn from him based on his background and knowledge and research. And then you will also meet Dr. Salman Ahmed as your tutor, and he's also quite well-established academic who has been in the educational program or teaching on the educational programs obviously since 2011, and he also worked in the, various organizations in development sector. So he specializes in entrepreneurship and strategic management. He has a range of international and national recognitions. And another team member is Dr. Nauman Ali, and he's a senior business analyst. And his area on our programs tends to be on the marketing side, so digital marketing, innovative marketing, strategic marketing as well. But he also has wider experience in business analytics and work-based learning, and he also has a quite strong background both professionally and academically. Okay, so they are the main members in our team, but you will also meet a wider range of people in different modules. So overall, this MSc Strategic Management programs have 3 key pillars. One is entrepreneurship, and then another one's internationalization, and another is sustainability, because they are all quite crucial in this 21st century world. So you will develop the skills and understanding about kind of promoting entrepreneurial and innovative thinking within existing business. You can also expand your idea as a new business startup, although this is not explicitly discussed on this program. It is more about reviewing and evaluating what organizations been doing, and then become more innovative and more entrepreneurial in their business kind of policies and practice and then strategies, that sort of area, in international context, which is the second point. So we always look at how the landscape for international business is changing. There are some specific modules for international business strategy, but because people on this program are from all over the place anyway, from different time zones and all those things. So our discussion is always on the international context. So it is okay to think about your own local context, but at the same time you can also learn from the other people's context, and then obviously you're encouraged to conduct your own research in the international context. And then in this 21st century we can't just ignore sustainability. So we will have a module, sustainable business management. However, it's an optional module. I'm going to explain later. But throughout all those the modules on this program, you will consider those sustainability here and there. So if I move on to specific features of MSc Strategic Management, because in this webinar I'm covering MSc Strategic Management and MSc Strategic Sustainability Management. So the first one is Strategic Management course, and then this is obviously quite new. The course itself has been running for a number of years, but it has been renewed about 4 years ago, just before the lockdown really. So this is quite contemporary, updated course looking at strategic management, obviously, on a global level, as I explained, and then it is for the students of all professions, ideally engaged in some sort of business organization, but you can also be in the public sector as well. We have a number of students who also work in kind of government or some sort of public sector, regulatory bodies, those people as well. As long as you're interested in strategic management, and then this is the right program for you. And then you have it says pathway, but it is another program actually, strategic sustainability management. But you also can choose to do the one optional module even when you are not on strategic sustainability management MSc. You have one module about sustainable business management. But again, as I said, sustainability is everywhere on the program. And then also another main feature is ILM, Institute for Leadership and Management. So when you complete either a postgraduate certificate, which is the first 3 modules, or entire MSc, you will have either certificate or diploma from the ILM. So it's going to be dual award really. So when you complete your study, you have the University of Derby qualification and the ILM qualification. And then if you do full MSc, and then you will have a final independent study, which you can actually choose the kind of traditional dissertation project, or you can work with a supervisor towards the academic paper publication. Academic paper publication is smaller inside the volume, really, number of the words. However, it is usually more challenging because you have to meet the standard expected by publisher. You do not have to publish, but you have to work towards the publishable standard on this module. But you have a choice. And then there are 2 zero credit module which you may consider as extra support. One is about career coaching and mentoring, and another one is transforming personal skills. And those 2 modules are there for you to take to further develop your professional skills on the career coaching and mentoring. And then transforming personal skills is to help you get back onto more academic work using your professional background, because we understand a number of the people who come onto this program have been in the professional arena for so many years, but have completed first degree so many years ago, and the system have changed, and then context of education have changed, or you haven't really engaged with kind of academic writing or research. So the transforming personal skills will help you to kind of brush up those academic skills, as well as help you to identify what sort of professional skills can help you on this course. Okay, so this is the structure of this program. So you have core modules and you have optional modules. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 20 credit modules. Now I have to note there is a typo actually. Transforming personal skills and career coaching and mentoring. You can see on the core modules, fourth one, it's 0 credit. So you have 20 credit modules: strategic formulation, innovation, entrepreneurship, and strategic execution, management, leadership, and international business strategies. And then you will choose optional modules to make up another 60 credits. So you can do finance, you can do talent management, you can do marketing, all those things, depending on your occupation maybe, or your career aspiration, or your existing knowledge or interest. And then you do these independent studies in the end, which I have explained. You can do either dissertation or you can do kind of publication type of thing, academic paper. So you have, we'd like you to nail the fundamentals of strategic management by having specific core modules, but you also will have some options to choose what you'd like to do. And then when you do strategic sustainability management, there isn't actually optional modules because, although it says on this column it's optional modules, they're all prescribed actually for this program. So I apologize for this typo. So the first 3 modules under this core modules heading is the same with MSc Strategic Management, but when you do sustainability management on the diploma stage, you will do specialists and modules. So international environmental policy and law and tools for delivering sustainable solutions, and then sustainable business management. The third module, sustainable business management, is actually an optional module for strategic management, and so you will see some people, but for all these 3 modules, they are also shared with the MSc environmental management. So you will meet and interact with those people. Many of them are actually professional in this subject area, who have kind of hands-on experience and some specialized knowledge in this kind of environmental management or sustainability management subject area, which will help you to further develop your insights and knowledge and skills. Okay. Oh, sorry. And then overall, we have been working hard to deliver these programs, and then here are just kind of extracts of the 3 points of our postgraduate taught experience survey. It is a national survey that's run by an external organization, and then they run this survey for all the universities in the UK and who runs a postgraduate program. So we have achieved 100% positive response on 3 aspects. So 100% of the students who responded to survey said they agree the course is intellectually stimulating, and then staff are good at explaining things, and the course has enriched or enhanced their academic ability. So many of our students are happy, and they feel the either sustainability or strategic management are fit for purpose, and then they actually could gain further confidence, knowledge, and also career advancement. And then, as I explained, this program will give you 2 awards. And so one is University of Derby, either postgraduate certificate or MSc degree, and the second one is ILM certificate if you do postgraduate certificate or diploma. So ILM is the Institute of Leadership and Management. They are globally recognized qualification. So if you have this ILM qualification, then you can also put this, as you can see on the right hand side, there is a badge. And it's a digital badge. You can actually put it on your, for example, LinkedIn the profile, or maybe your email signature as well, that sort of thing. So this is globally recognized qualification you can show off you have completed. And then that badge gives you good evidence of application of leadership skills. And then you also, while you're actually on this program, you also have the free student membership of the ILM resources. So you can access their news, webinars, podcasts, and some practical research reports and all those things. And then also there are kind of mini online courses as well for quite kind of pinpoint specific tasks and exercise type of thing. And you can also do more CPD activities using their resources. And there's also lots of network opportunities, either on the website, or sometimes they also organize some kind of face-to-face events in different areas in the country. So you can also network with 30,000 plus leaders in this business arena. And then you can also get some career advice and access to those career advancement tools and some resources provided by the ILM. So you have almost like two sets of qualification as well as the resources attached to it while you are studying on this course. So it's I have to say good value for money, because you get two birds with just studying this course, one stone. So moving on to a little bit more specific aspects, teaching and learning. What are you going to learn? And one of the module, strategic formulation module, I think, use the SimVenture. This is a business simulation that allows you to run a virtual business for up to 10 years. So you kind of make a decision and then see how your decision turned out, whether it was the right decision. So you made a change in the financial budgeting, for example, and then leave it overnight. Next day when you come back to it, you might see the financial results going up or down, or the any other kind of impacts on the other resources or other business areas within the organization. So you have this simulation on one of the module, and that kind of lets you play around with sales, marketing, finance, operations, research development, and kind of general organization. And then why do we do this is because I know most of you have the wealth of experience in the real business, but in the real business you are not allowed to make any mistake because it's going to have serious consequences. But in this module, using SimVenture, you can actually play around to see, well, I don't really make this sort of decision because I never really thought it was the best idea. I always play safe, but should I try? It allows you to do that, and it allows you to fail and then restart sometimes, so that you can learn what if type of scenario from this one, and then and this is really good opportunity for you to have develop more innovative thinking, and then try taking risk to a certain extent. Although it is just on one of the modules, but you can actually keep thinking about it and then simulate it in your mind to a certain extent when you work on the coursework, and then do some more research and have some sort of hypothetical idea. But on this module, you can actually try it and then see the actual results based on the computer simulation. And then on other modules, you are not going to have weekly lecture. This is the expectation many people just have when you come to online programs. And as I said, this program have the global student profile. So you may be interacting with people from Tanzania and Kenya, and at the same time someone from Thailand and then Canada. And so people are in different time zones all over the world, and then working most of the time. So you have work, you have family commitment, and then you are studying, and you also need obviously some time to breathe and relax. So we our approach is not to tie you into the specific time and place to do any study. You have some flexibility in terms of time and study, time of the day or time of the week. But we normally progress just one module, one unit each week. And then when you access those the materials, this is type of the things you could see. So there are lots of text, and then occasionally you have those diagrams, interactive diagrams, and some video inserted with some exercises. And then we do also lots of discussion activities as well. So you will not get bored, and you will not have, or you will not be required to buy textbook nor attend weekly lecture. So you have flexibility as long as you have good access to the online, and then you can use all the resources we provide to complete your work. And then also, as I mentioned, ILM resources. So as I said, we have students from all over the world. So from Asia, Oceania to Europe to North, South America and Africa. So you can actually build the global network, so, quite often professionally, because you are all professional when you study on these programs. And then many of you must be here to develop your career, otherwise you wouldn't probably be studying management or business area, although some of you may be doing the with your goal to be more like scholar route, which is absolutely fine. But again, if you're looking at your career to be a scholar, that's still a career, and so you need to have some sort of career development opportunities, which we can provide while you're on this program. So obviously by completing this program, you will be equipped with the skills, knowledge, insights, critical thinking and that sort of thing to add value to your organization. And then by having you, hopefully that's going to be the good value. You become the good value for the organization because of your contribution you make to your organization. And then you also can develop your business strategy, or even you can start your own business. And as I said, this program doesn't really focus on the business startup, but by completing this program you will probably have enough knowledge and insights to do so in the end. And then obviously you will have much greater confidence from a holistic understanding of business operations and the strategy. And then you have obviously extra credibility because you have MSc, master's degree, and then also ILM award on your CV. So when you complete your study, many students actually get promoted, or get the better job in a way, or more like higher position job, either within the organization or go elsewhere. So you could actually look into taking a leadership role within your business, and then within that role you can make more strategic decision, looking at the long term, looking at more high level, thinking about different department, not just what you do on day-to-day business, and that sort of with confidence really. And or you can actually progress on to PhD. It doesn't have to be straight away, but some people consider, the other people just want to focus on the business. And then, as I say, you will have the confidence that allows you to apply for the higher positions within or outside your current organization, or start up your own business, obviously. So this is the good opportunity to transform your future, because having qualification is quite significant. And then while you study, you will have this virtual campus that have everything you need to study, really. So, as I said, this is a great opportunity to advance your career, and that means it is not just couple of hours each week type of quick training course. It is the full commitment to the master's degree or postgraduate certificate. So you have to spend next 2-3 years, doing that on a daily basis. So in order to do so, it is important to kind of they have your own rule and then get into the routine really. And then here are some kind of hints and tips from us to you, or in a way, we are trying to give you some idea what you need to expect. So you definitely should be create a space to study. It doesn't have to be you have to have the full kind of study area in your home. It would be nice if you have, let's say, the corner in your dining room with laptop and a pen and paper and a good lighting, and good access to the internet. And then you almost like program your mind. When I sit here, I just focus on this, with no distraction. That's ideal. But again, you can take more flexible approach. For example, you can also download all the unit materials, although you wouldn't have access to videos and that sort of thing. And you can print it out, or you can save it onto your tablet if you know you have to go offline for a while. And then you kind of decide, okay, when I'm commuting on the bus, I will look at least 2 pages of this, and and start thinking about my assessment and that sort of thing, and take some notes. So have some sort of mental and physical space to study. And ideally, really, you should be protecting around 20 hours a week during that term time, which starts in September, January, and May, and for 10 weeks period. It is because each module usually awards you 20 credits when you pass, and then in the UK higher education context, 20 credit means about 200 hours of study time, and that study time includes those times you are doing the wider reading or completing your assessment tasks. So it doesn't have to be 20 hours every single week. Usually, you start spending quite high number of hours in the first couple of weeks, because you want to get into the pace and you want to understand, and you're quite busy with those introducing yourself and understanding the module, understanding assessment, and you kind of goes down a little bit, and then you bump up the hours again before the submission date, assessment submission date, and that sort of thing. So it can be different from week to week, but overall you should remember you are expected to engage with study about 200 hours per module, and you need to be prepared for that. And as I say, you can go up and down in terms of level of engagement, but it's quite important you have regular engagement rather than have, let's say, try to finish everything in 3 weeks, having 3 weeks off and just do intensively. It is a lot better to do little and often, and then block some time to focus on doing some bit deeper thinking and assessment works and that sort of thing. And because you will have lots of opportunity to interact with peers, and then we usually progress on weekly basis each unit, and then each of them have at least one discussion activity. So this is where you learn from each other, and you receive the feedback from the academics as well. So if you just try to do 10 discussion activities in 2 weeks, and then if you don't go back later, you probably will not benefit from doing that, because you don't see the feedback, you don't see other people's idea and that sort of thing. And then also it is crucial you to come into the digital campus, because there are essential informations and additional resources, announcement message in those and the places. So that you do University of Derby Online and the course resources area and some other areas. You also will be given this Unimail address, which is Outlook address for the university, and then all the essential information will be sent to that email address. So it is quite important you actually maybe use the app, or from the browser you regularly check email on your Unimail account. And then, as I say, little and often engagement is much better than block engagement. And if you try to block some time to focus on, studying, do it early rather than at the end of the period. Really, don't leave the assignments to the last minute, because you might underestimate the workload, or you might completely misunderstand the assessment task. It's a lot better if you start engaging early and ask questions to the tutors, and then see what other classmates, your peer, are saying about the assessments. There is some opportunity to do so, and then start at least thinking about it and planning early enough. Oh. So as I say, you have interactions opportunities, and then there are many channels to do so. And as I keep mentioning, discussion forum is probably the main platform, because it is good place to talk to each other, but at the same time without thinking about time zone. So you can just respond to this main activity question, and then maybe for a day or two come back to see how many other people have posted, and then you can actually comment on your peers, and you're encouraged to do so, in fact. And that's kind of main platform for the learning activities, although it's not the only platform. But you also can ask the question, or you also can socialize with your peer. So there are 3 discussion forums created on each module. So one's cafe forum, which is more a socialization purpose. So you kind of introduce yourself, or if you want to start some sort of conversation with your peer, you can use the forum. And then learning activities, which is all set by the tutor, and then you can respond to those weekly activities and then comment on each other and then receive feedback. And then another one is FAQ thread, frequently asked question threads, and so you can ask any questions about the module in general, or report the problem. For example, this link doesn't seem to work, can you tell me what website it is, that sort of thing. And also ask the question about the assessment, something you don't understand, by reading the assessment brief, or attending some kind of live sessions, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And it is a good place to use the FAQ threads, because you may be tempted to send emails, and then we have policy to respond to the emails within 2 working days, and so you might have to wait for up to 2 days to receive the email. On the other side, if I'm your module tutor, I may receive the same question from 5 different people, and I have to get back to each person. But if you use the FAQ threads, you can actually check through the threads to see the similar questions already being asked, and then there is a good chance actually you already have the question, and the tutor has already responded, and so you even don't have to send the email or don't post. And then if you don't find a similar question, you can post it, and then by doing that you actually help everyone else who may have the similar question, really. And then there are sometimes you might actually find the questions you actually didn't think about it, but by seeing that, you almost think like, oh yeah, I never really thought about it, but that's a good point actually, that sort of thing. So please use the FAQ threads and to ask the question. Obviously, if you have more personal matters, you can email us, the tutor or the program leader. So the emails are more appropriate for personal confidential matters, but when you do so, you are encouraged to use Unimail email address. As a University of Derby student, you should be using University of Derby email address, just like you don't use your Gmail or the Hotmail address when you communicate with your colleague for the work purpose. It's the same thing. And then we usually respond within 2 working days. And another the platform we quite often use is what we call the Blackboard Collaborate. This is more like the webinar kind of live session type of platform. Some module may have live session per week, but we normally don't do that on this program. The information you're seeing, just generic information. We normally do 3 sessions, live sessions, usually just focusing on the giving advice on the assessment work, really. And then they're all recorded. So if you can't attend because of a time zone, because of work commitment or family commitment, that's absolutely fine. You can just go through the recording later and then post your question FAQ thread if you have any. Um, and then, in addition to the 3 sessions, we also run about 2 drop-in sessions. So this is a session with no kind of formal structure. You can just come in and ask questions, or just to say hello, or just give us some general feedback. I'm really enjoying this one, or I'm actually having quite difficult. Can you, give me some support? That sort of thing. So it is just a platform, because some people always prefer face-to-face live interaction, while the other people are better with written communications. So, depending on your preference and style, you can also use those drop-in sessions for the communication, although there will be probably only 2 or 3 per module. So there will be about 5 kind of live interactive sessions per module across 10 weeks. So you have more or less every other week something's happening. So you will not feel alone, and you will feel the tutors there, really. And then for more personal issues, and if you want to have more like live communication, and then you can call us, or we can arrange the virtual meeting. So you can just drop an email either to me as a program leader or your tutor, and say, "Oh, can I ask you some question? Or I'm having a bit of personal issue. Can I discuss about my option of the study?" And we can arrange the virtual meetings to go through your issue or question or feedback live. So it is online study, but it's not lonely journey. There are lots of opportunities, but the thing is, you also have to make an effort to use these tools. So it needs level of obviously motivation and then skill to use those digital tools. And then that's a good development opportunities as well, because especially after this the pandemic, this is these communication tools are something everyone's using. Before that, some people never really kind of thought about it, but now everyone uses at least 1 or 2 of them. Okay. So, as I said, online learning may sound quite lonely journey, but it is not, because you have the entire support network provided by the university. So I'm here as your program leader, and then you will have the module leader or module tutor who supports you on each module. You will also be assigned to the personal academic tutor who may or may not be teaching you. I may be your personal academic tutor without teaching you on any of the modules, because I only teach on the optional modules at the moment. But you can discuss your academic development journey, and then how you can use your learning onto your career, or how you can actually improve your grade for the next module. You can have kind of wider academic discussion with the academic personal tutor. So you have range of people on academic team to support you, and in addition to that, we have online learner advisors team who gives you some support and information for non-academic support. For example, enrollment, how to pay the fee. You're having a bit of issue, so you want to apply for the assessment extension, that sort of thing. And then outside that, we also have the range of student service department. So one of them is student well-being. If you have any diagnosed disability, and then you definitely need to contact them, because they can provide you with a support plan which will be distributed to the academic team. For example, if you're dyslexic or have visual impairment or have mobility problems, so to stop you typing quite quickly, and then you may have the automatic authorized extension based on your official diagnosis of your disability. So it is definitely contacting them. Or if you have if we experience any sort of mental health issue, you start feeling a bit low, because it doesn't have to be related to work, the study. It can be just overall you start feeling everything is a bit too much, and I'm not quite sure, I need someone to speak to, I could do with a bit of help. And then they also have some advice service referral scheme, so you may be able to benefit from that. And then they also deal with the financial hardship. If you're living in the UK, they may advise you to kind of contact some organization. Internationally, it might be a little bit more difficult. But again, if you are experiencing any sort of financial difficulties and you're struggling to pay the fee, or just kind of feed your family and that sort of thing, they may be able to give you some sort of money advice and as well. So it's you don't lose anything by just contacting them. And then it's probably worth trying, really. And then obviously, quite importantly, you have library, which have thousands of ebooks. So you do not have to purchase physical books, because we understand the same book may or may not be available in your country. But all the books and the core readings we do on each module on our program is all available in our library and as ebook or journal articles. And we also have the career and office who may be able to help you with, for example, some interview skills or CV clinics, and getting a bit more insight about job application and the going through the selection process. And lastly, but not least, you will be the member of the Union of Students, so they are there to support you. So if you feel, for example, you have been treated unfairly because of whatever the reason, and then they should be able to help you and then support you if you want to, for example, form the submit the complaint to the university, and then you can actually ask for their support. So you are provided with the support from the different areas, the specialists. So academic, admin, general well-being, library resources, careers, and then student support. So don't worry about trying to cope everything by yourself during your study. And then you will also have access to the full Office 365 suite. So you have Word, PowerPoint, Excel, forms, and all those things. And you have whopping 1 terabyte cloud storage, so you don't have to worry about where to store all those articles you downloaded when you're doing research or draft assignments or anything. Really, everything is there and secure. And then, as I said, you have flexibility in relation to time and space of study, because you can have 24/7 access to the student portal and a virtual learning environment and inquiry service. You may not have face-to-face or the telephone answered if you call us outside the office hours, but at least IT service actually have the 24/7 service now, so you can actually get some support. But there's wealth of information, vast range of information available on the student portal. And as I mentioned, we have this library. Everything's available to you. There are only some books that's not available as ebooks, but especially during the pandemic, we realized even when you enroll on campus, you probably quite often need to access the books electronically. So the university library is making their best effort to have everything available online. They also do, in addition to just having those books and journal articles and those publications, they also provide you with the range of materials, and now it's called Develop at Derby. So you can get lots of guidance on for example, study skills, resource skills, resource kind of research skills. And then how to make references, critical thinking, and how to plan your study, all those things. There are some static materials and some activities to do for you, as well as some live sessions you can attend online. So the library is not just in the building with thousands of books, but it is more about helping you with the general research and study skills. So you can have the resources obviously available there, but you can also develop your skills using the resources. So hopefully you now understand what to expect and what you study, and thinking about why you want to study. And then after, all these hard work of 2 to 3 years, that's the kind of standard duration it takes. And then you will be invited to the graduation, what we call the award ceremony in Derby. So this is quite often the only occasion I can see you in person. And it's nice for you to meet all the academics who've been tutoring you or supervising you on your dissertation, or those your peer who have who you've been interacting in the last 2 3 years. So it's, and then as you can see, our graduates are quite often mature students with family and with children. Sometimes they even have the grandchildren. And it's always quite nice to see people traveling from all over the world with entire family and celebrating the special day. And I very much enjoy this day, and I'll look forward to meeting you there, really. So this is the end of the kind of explanation of the program itself. So it's up to over to you now to take action. So I suggest you go back and think about whether you want to study and whether this is the right program. And then check entry criteria, and obviously money is quite important, so the course fees and payment plans. We have some flexible payment options as well. And then obviously you need to plan time. So you can also find the next start date as well as the application deadline, everything on our website, which is derby.ac.uk/online. And then if you have any questions, and then you can contact us as well. So for the general inquiry or any specific inquiry about the online courses, please email us udo-inquiries@derby.ac.uk, or you can also call us 01332 if you're in the UK, or the country code is 44 and 1332 594,000. If you have any specific question about you would like to ask me, you can still use the email address and then say, well, I have the question for the course leader. But those inquiry teams will know whether your question is the right one for the academic team or admission team, or then the finance team, all those different teams, and then they can direct your question to the right team. So I suggest you just contact the inquiries team to start with. Okay, so this is the end of the webinar. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope it helps you to make important decisions for your future career. And as I say, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. And I'll very much look forward to meeting you and welcoming you on board onto the program. Thank you.